Hello, everyone. It's Justin Dawson from the All Things Techie Podcast. This following episode of our podcast was recorded during Infocomm 2024 that recently took place in Las Vegas. Our Infocomm 2024 coverage is sponsored by X2O Media, Logitech, Nureva, and Wirestorm. While you may be listening to this audio podcast, I always recommend watching the video version from our YouTube channel or from our official website. Enjoy the show from Infocomm 2024 live in Las Vegas.
Here's the show that loves to talk about gadgets and gizmos, from A-Logic to Yamaha, cameras to control panels. You get what I mean. We love talking all things techie. In fact, that's the name of the show. And here is your host, Justin
my voice
Dawson.
Here today, because it's all the talking. It's trade show voice that now on day 2 of Infocomm, especially when we've been here for a week long, setting up this amazing booth, double decker, looking over. If we were looking over the other way, we could see our neighbors here in Nureva. Introduce yourself. Hi. Say who you are and where you're from.
Yep. My name is Rob Abbot. I'm the head of products, and we're based in Calgary, Canada.
And my name is James Rempel, Director of Product Management, and work with Rob in Calgary.
So how many times have you guys done Infocomms like this? I know you were saying just pre-show that like you usually do the ISEs, which is a bit of a distance to go from Canada to Barcelona. So this is a bit easier, but probably Vegas is full on like me.
Yeah. Well, yeah, this is probably my 20-something, I say 24th Infocomm, not all with Nureva. James?
And I've been at many Infocomms in the past. Rob and I used to work for Smart Technologies.
Okay.
So Infocomm was just
Big deal.
a rite of passage every year.
It is, and as I think the way Joe has done it for me, it's like it's a baptism of fire. Yeah. Like literally, I arrived in like after we started unloading the booths, and the first night I was here, he got me on a booking Bronco. I woke up the next morning going, why is the inside of my thighs all bruised? Oh yes, I was on a booking Bronco. So I have to ask you guys then, since you've done all three, ISE, Infocomm, Florida, and Vegas, what's your favorite?
Well, it's like picking a favorite child. I don't know.
Dave Labuscus said the exact same thing.
There you go. Well, but so I think all three have their pros and cons. But I think my general statement is what's so encouraging is to see that all things are on the rise now. The tide is rising for the industry. And there was a time there where I wasn't sure if Infocomm would find its footing. It seemed like it was dwindling. It was trying to find its purpose. And so I think the most positive thing I could say is that I walk around this hall and I feel that there's a lot of energy, there's a lot of momentum and growth for the whole industry.
Well, what I definitely notice between the Infocomm ISE is so big, you get lost in the whirlwind of what you are trying to do compared to two halls here, and all nicely knit together, and you can walk them in one day, and because you're not walking several different halls, you remember where things are. And you can get to places. Now, for people that haven't heard of Nureva, what's the best way of describing what you guys are doing?
Yeah, so we've been around for we're closing in on 10 years now. So we're not a startup. We're a new company. We're a growing company. But the simplest way to think about it is we've kind of taken this mindset of simplicity right at the heart of what we're doing. And when we looked at the audio space, and in particular large room audio, we felt there was room for disruption. There was room to add value, to make things simpler. And so what we do in a nutshell is we build audio systems with the flagship product being an integrated mic speaker bar that you can put on a wall. You can have one, you can have two, you can do spaces up to 35 feet by 55 feet.
Which is a large space, guys.
Yeah, exactly. And you can do all of that with just a 2-bar system. You can put them on any wall you would like. It connects through power over Ethernet to a Connect module, and then to USB to a compute to a PC. So what's really unique about that is you just remove all the complexity of mounting mics into ceilings, trying to find appropriate wiring runs. You don't have to put anything on the table. And I would say most importantly is that we do not require a DSP. There is no DSP in our mix. We've taken that out. And so specifically for higher education. We're just getting great response from IT managers all over the world that this is something they want. They want to stop the complexity and stop spending money on things that they feel should be spent towards actual classroom.
And I'm going to hit in on that because it's an AV technician's worst nightmare. Right. The couple of things that's an AV technician's worst nightmare is a clip mic goes missing, or it's a lecturer takes it to another room because they think it will work in a different room, or handheld, or the handheld hasn't got batteries. Now, I know your competitors will have rechargeable bases, but if they don't put it on the rechargeable base, these are the problems that we have in higher ed. But also, like, I'm going from a neurodiverse background and my son being autistic. Like, you know, we covered this a couple of times on Across the Ponds with Joe Way and with the Midwich group as well, that the person that's neurodiverse at the back, the lecturer might say, can you all hear me at the back? And, you know, hand up if you can't hear me. Well, if they can't hear you, they're not going to put their hand up, you know? So you have created a system where it's just one bar. It can be in any location, I guess, in that room, which adds to the aesthetics.
Yes.
And, you know, also what I was going to mention as well is I've seen really crazy builds in different universities across Ireland where they put in maybe one DSP for video, we won't name the names, and then another DSP or processor for audio. And it's just like it's upselling and it's overselling.
Well, and another downside to those very complex systems is that if someone changes the layout of the room or you change the use case of the room, now you have to bring in a technician to update
to do the room.
And so a big advantage of our system is that it automatically calibrates when you install it, and it continues to calibrate. It recognizes changes in the acoustics of the room and adapts. So you can change the furniture around, you can change the layout of the room, and you don't have to touch it.
And the beauty of that is that that's all built into the bar.
Exactly.
Yes. Now, I have to zone in on this whole, your patented, not even patent pending, patented microphone mist technology. Now, some people will go, microphone mist, come on, you're doing something magical. What is this microphone?
But it is a unique technology that we've developed in-house, and it's a really different way of approaching audio processing for microphone pickup. And the way it works is that we have physical microphones built into our bars, and our powerful processors create a field of virtual microphones based on the inputs from those physical microphones. And a virtual microphone is essentially a point in space where we can focus pickup. And so we have two processes that run in parallel. There's a targeting process that works. And the way that works is that it monitors these thousands of virtual microphones in real time, looking for the strongest and clearest feed. And once it identifies that, it locks in. The second process kicks in, which is the pickup process. And so we focus pickup on that virtual microphone. It gets echo canceled and then sent to the far side.
Beautiful. Like, it's a beautiful piece of technology. Like, the stats and the numbers, I did write them down on my little notepad in front of me here. But like, you're talking about thousands of. Yes. Yeah. So what's the algorithm? Well, I'm not saying what's the trade secret, but like, you have in some of your HCL bars, your 300, your 360, you have about 12 physical microphones, and then that multiplies out to a couple of thousand virtual.
Yes. Well, you can kind of think about a virtual microphone as being an address, a point in space, and so we can generate these thousands of virtual microphones that essentially generates or creates your audio resolution in the room. Right?
Mm-hmm. Now, I've been in some rooms across my campus, and like high ceilings, whitewashed walls. They haven't put in the sound absorption in the rooms. Yeah. Like in case scenarios, you know, do you say just put this in and go play and see will it actually, or do you recommend the additional sound absorption to the room?
So we do have specifications where we recommend a certain level of background noise and a certain level of reverberance measured in RT60. But in general, our solutions can handle pretty difficult rooms. And audio is tricky because a room is always part of the equation, right? You can't fully take the room out of the equation. But our system, because we're targeting these virtual microphones, we can really reject a lot of the reverberation and background noise in the pickup and focus on people's voices.
I at some stage must get in contact with you offline, and just like we have one room where like I can hear my voice back, so like it's that echoey.
Oh, wow.
And like it's a high. It used to be used as a storeroom. Yeah. It's now been changed into a boardroom, and with a TV and a video bar on it. I would love to see. Can I cancel that stuff out?
Well, another advantage of our solution is that it's very quick to set up. So you can set it up in a room and see how it works and get immediate feedback.
One of the things we also do is we actually measure background noise and signal to noise ratio and things like that from our system. So you have this question, you can install a system and actually get measurements from the HDL bars to our Nureva console software, and you actually have data to say, is this a loud room? Do I need voice amplification in this room? Are the people in the room having a worse experience than the people who are distributed?
And that's what I was just going to move on to, is the monitoring software, and probably more your side of things. And the great thing is, like, it's open. You can. It's part of, is a software based. Is it license based, or is it that comes as part of?
Yeah, it's included. So if you buy an HDL system, Nureva console is included with it. So that's our cloud-based management and monitoring platform. So this is the tool that lets you do things like push firmware updates. As an IT manager sitting, in a remote location, you have a dashboard of health for all your rooms. You see like nice, simple red, yellow, green. Firmware's up to date, things are online or not. But you can also drill right into essentially every switch or toggle in our system. You can dive into that.
Dive into it and zone into it.
Yeah.
Now, just like that, like a good example there, Mr. Way is like still dying in the background from allergies. If we have an Nureva bar on the wall and you have a student that is either talking in the background or making noise, like, I've seen it with ceiling tiles. We might have in our clinical skills labs back in our university where a student starts talking, or working on another one of the nursing beds, and all of a sudden, like, when we listen back to the capture, you can hear the student more than you can hear the lecturer. How does the bar know who's talking?
Yeah, so I mean, that's sort of a function of our targeting process. So we're always targeting the strongest, clearest voice in the room, while still covering the entire room.
Okay.
And so as long as that instructor has the strongest voice, we're going to focus on the instructor's voice and not other voices in the room.
Yeah.
And you were talking about voice reinforcement in the room. A lot of our customers use a feature of our products called voice amplification, where you can connect a wireless microphone to our Connect module. Assuming the instructor is wearing that wireless microphone, their voice gets amplified through our speakers, makes it easy for all the students to hear. But we're doing multi-way cancellation, so you can do that at the same time that you're in a remote learning session or doing lecture capture.
That's beautiful, because so you can partner with the Sures and the Sennheisers, and so when you're connecting another microphone, is it just an XLR into the back, or which way?
Yeah, we use on the back of our Connect module, it's a 3.5 millimeter stereo
Nice.
jack, so you just use an adapter cable.
Oh, it's beautiful.
And you can set it up through Nureva console. It's really simple.
Now, going back on the what you call the ADA and the disabilities ends of things, like you see the groundbreaking, the T loops that go on for hearing impaired, and you see like there's hearing impaired, and then you see that the Auracast that's coming out in the not so distant future that's going to revolutionize things.
Really interesting.
Yeah. how do you see Nureva linking in with these? Because, you know, it means that you don't have to worry about the clip mics. You don't need to worry about, because everything is nicely tunely balanced with your bar.
Yeah.
And in the future, maybe adapting it to closed captioning as well in Zoom and Teams.
That's exciting too. Yeah. So we have a lot of customers who use our products today with assistive listening devices, and you connect, you make the integration with our analog output port, and so you have the option of just having the microphone pickup, or we have what we call mixed mode, where it will take the bar side audio and the in-room audio and mix it all together and send that to your assistive listening system. And the really old school technology is Teleloop, which has been around for over 100 years.
Well, I think this could be like what we have coming out with you guys on the Mist, and
we're about to have a coffee swing.
Yeah, we have a coffee swing. It is 9 a.m. or 9:30 a.m. on day 2 at Infocomm, and we do need to get the coffees in. But with that microphone Mist technology, you're not missing anything in the room, especially. So I always zone in on this with like assistive listening. Like the only person that's probably going to be mic'd up is the lecturer at the front. In a normal scenario.
Exactly.
Whereas, and then when a student asks a question to the lecturer, that person that's hearing impaired hasn't heard that question unless there's a microphone being passed around the room. So with these technologies that you're creating, everyone's going to be heard for the assistive.
It makes it seamless. I think if you're only miking up the instructor or focusing pickup on the instructor, that's case scenario. If you have a very considerate instructor, they're going to stop the class and repeat the question so that people on the far side or people with assistive listening devices can hear it, or they will repeat student comments from in the room. But worst case scenario is they forget to do that, and then
often.
Probably most often, and so then people with assistive listening devices are missing out a large part of the content of the class.
And this, you were going to say something.
Well, I just wanted to reiterate. We think things like Oracast and Oracast specifically are going to be critically important, and we're actively in research there. So we can commit that on our roadmap. These are things that are absolutely coming.
Yes, I was going to ask that. Like, what's the future of Nureva? What secrets can you tell us?
Oracast looks really interesting.
I think that's going to be a bit of a game changer.
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to reveal secrets here to the world, but directionally, we put our cards on the table here in Vegas. We're focused on large and extra large spaces. We don't see a need for more kind of audio in these small huddle spaces or medium spaces. There's lots of players there. Where can we go where customers, where students, where instructors are still struggling with like painful points? So we're going to large, extra large spaces and the problems and use cases that happen in those spaces. And
I think again the painful place as a technician on campus and doing support is the microphone's not working. The microphone is working. It's a bar. It's just walk into the room and it's ready to go. Is a great scenario for a room when you're doing these type of setups.
Yeah, that's a really common piece of. Yeah, so there's two things we think about. One is we have the IT manager, the AV technician in the university. They say we love your systems because I can install it and touch it once. Because they're living in a world where tables are on casters, furniture is getting moved. They're switching from a lecture to some other kind of collaborative session. They can't afford to take that call. So install it, touch it once, and they say to us, "You have the quietest rooms." And what they mean by that is not quietest from a pickup perspective.
Yeah.
They mean people don't complain about them. And so that's the most valuable thing we can do for the education community are make robust products that have a good long shelf life that you don't get complaints
about. I'm thinking of so many solutions that if you had a classroom or lecture theater or an active learning environment room, that's multi-purpose for live events, you don't have to set up a mixing desk and a load of microphones. If it's Dante and you can just tap into this and whether capture it or live stream it, it's ready to go.
Yeah, lecture capture is a huge component of why people use our products, and so you can do that for USB or analog, or there's a wide variety of ways of integrating lecture capture.
Now, I'm going to ask a bit of a difficult question, which is where this all fits in when you have cameras and camera tracking, because again, you have the amount of microphone mist technology, and then you're trying to get cameras to track where the next person is talking. That's a big algorithm.
Yeah, well, I could start it off anyway. Right. So, a big advantage of our microphone mist technology, apart from the audio pickup, is the fact that we know where people are talking in the room. And that information is really useful when you're looking at camera switching or camera tracking solutions, because the most natural way to guide what camera view is best is by understanding who's talking. And remote participants want to follow the conversation. And so we've been, our customers have been asking us a lot about this over the past 18 months or 2 years. And we've developed a lot of really interesting camera integrations with third-party camera manufacturers. And there's do you want to describe it?
Well, I think the simplest way. So we have sound location data that we can use for many things, but now we've exposed it as an API. But really, think about it. There's 3 ways. The simplest way is we work with companies like Inogeny, who have a simple USB to HDMI switcher, which means you can do camera switching with the Nureva audio solution and any USB or HDMI camera. No integration required. Super. So that's number 1 way. You can just draw camera zones in our software, and as someone walks into one of those zones, it sends the switch camera
signal. And that's done on your software.
Yes,
that's beautiful.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's a really simple interface. It's we auto-create a coverage map, auto-generate a coverage map, let you know where bar 1 is, bar 2 is, and you can just draw listening zones, one for the instructor, for example, one for the student, and a sound location incident in there or activity in that space will trigger the camera switch. So again, no integration required for you. Just buy the USB or HDMI camera of your choice.
This makes it incredibly simple for the AV programmer, that you're not hiring your third party to do touch panels or anything. It's just ready to go.
Yeah, exactly. And so the second way is that some of the leading camera vendors like Lumens, PTZ Optics, Aver, they've taken the API and just done the integration out of the box. So that means when you plug in those cameras, they have already kind of done the handshake with our API. And then the last is through control systems. So we have camera switching drivers with Extron, Crestron, QSC. That's like, I would call it the old school way of doing it, but all options are available for you if you want to use Nureva audio with cameras.
Wow, there's a lot that to take in there, and we're going to put some B-roll over this video as well. But is there anything else that you guys want to cover, or?
Yeah, we've covered a lot. I think, again, you really honed in on the technology and how it's unique. I would say the thing that I think kind of reiterates that is that we're the only integrated mic speaker bar to be certified for large and extra large Teams and Zoom rooms. So, we say that's one thing, but these third-party certifications kind of reinforce that no other bar-based product can achieve those certifications.
I've noticed that from walking around at ISE and trying to give the vendors different queries and scenarios for some of our rooms, and they're like, well, this bar fits only this size and this bar only fits this size, where you're telling me that you can link up a couple of bars if you need to do a bigger room.
Cover a wide range of room sizes.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, no, thanks for the time. And I would say if you want to learn more, go to Nureva.com. We do demos there if you want to, whole hearing is believing. So we can give you a 60-second demo from our website. If you're here at Infocomm, drop by our booth, and we're doing live demos of our camera zones and our audio coverage in a very large room.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for joining us. I have some swag bags in the corner here for you. I know you have the Hetman bags and you have a cape. Because Nureva has been very supportive of Hetman, and I really appreciate you being supportive of the All Things Techie podcast over in Ireland as well. And hope you enjoy the rest of this epic Infocomm. I can see why they only do it for 3 days
Yeah,
because, especially in Vegas, it's just like 3 days of the
So
night.
just a warning, you're not even halfway through yet. So
I know.
hang
I
in there.
know. Yeah. It's
Hang in there. You'll
Hang
get
in there. Hang in there.
Hydrate.
Yeah. It's a reason that I stopped at midnight last night. Did you guys party last night?
We were pretty. We saw some '80s cover bands. It was a nice night, but we were in bed reasonable hours.
Reasonable hours as well.
Yeah.
Rob, James, thank you so much for joining us on the All Things Techie Podcast.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to All Things Techie Podcast, part of the Extreme Media Network. Follow us on Twitter at AVTechJunkies. Subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts. You can also watch our show on YouTube by visiting youtube.com/@Justin_or_Dawson. Previous episodes of our show can be found on our official site, www.allthingstech.ie. For advertising and sponsorship opportunities, please visit www.extrememedia.ie.